Welcome back to Awaken Life. I'm Hamish, your nervous system mentor. Today, I want to share with you 3 simple ways to support your nervous system during this holiday season. As we know, this time of year, we want to be slowing down, that hibernation mode in winter. But unfortunately, things seem to start to ramp up instead of letting us start to slow down and relax like we want to. There's all the Christmas presents to get, there's all the Christmas shopping to organise, there's making sure that people are going to be where they need to be over the Christmas period. And on top of all of that, you're probably still working really, really hard at your job and joining in all of those Christmas festivities that everyone else does, meeting up with friends, going to office Christmas parties. It never seems to end. It is really understandable that at this time of year, we can start to feel really frazzled and really lacking in energy, even though we're trying to gear up and enjoy ourselves and put on our party faces and be here, there, and everywhere for everybody. But we don't always step back and take a look at what we need for ourselves. I just want to give you 3 simple tips to really help you support your nervous system during this period of time. Now, and it's not too late to put these tips into practice. Maybe you've already had Christmas parties, you've already had events that you've been going to, and maybe you're already starting to feel that kind of burnout on the horizon, if you like, that comes with this time of year. But it's not too late. You still have time to really help support your own nervous system. I don't want to add masses of things to your already long to-do list. I want these to be really easy for you and really helpful and give you the time and space that you need to get through the next few weeks. My first tip is to set an intention. And like I said, it's not too late. You may have already had Christmas parties, you may have had events you've already been to, but you can still set yourself an intention right now of how you want to move through the rest of this holiday season. Whether you have lots and lots of plans or whether you are actually having a slow, quiet one, setting that intention can really bring you back to yourself and bring you back to knowing how you want to feel and how you want to move through this period of time. Things can get very overwhelming, and there is going to be a lot of information, if you like, being thrown our way in terms of talking to people, adverts on TV, interacting with others, communication. It all has an impact on our nervous system. Setting that intention lets us tap into, what do I want to do? What do I want to feel? How do I want to be in this space and around these people at this moment in time? It can really help you bring you back to yourself. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to find or create an anchor. Now, what I really mean by that is, again, when we are overstimulated or overwhelmed in these scenarios during this holiday season, it can be really easy to become disconnected from ourselves and just kind of go with the flow or become almost on autopilot to get through whatever it is that we're going through at that moment in time. What I would really suggest is to try and find an anchor point for yourself. One of the ways that I find really helpful to do this is to find an anchor point within my own body, that when I do feel overwhelmed or overstimulated by my environment or the people around me, I come back to that anchor point and I bring awareness to it. This could be concentrating on my feet and really feeling the sensations in my feet, maybe wriggling my toes around, really bringing my awareness back to my feet. It could be the same sort of thing, but with my hands. I could just be maybe moving my fingers slightly, feeling the sensations, and bringing awareness back to my hands when that overwhelm or overstimulation starts to creep in. Let that overstimulation and that overwhelm start to kind of dissipate. That's an anchor that you can create yourself within your own body. There is another way that you can also find an anchor. Say, for example, you're in an environment, it could be your home, it could be the office, it could be in a restaurant. Is when you get into that environment, think about an anchor point that you can focus on if you start to feel that overwhelm or that overstimulation starting to come in. At home, this is a little bit easier because a lot of us feel a lot safer in our homes than we do maybe in an office or in a restaurant with other people. And it can be easier to find that anchor place within our home. It could be a place that you go to just to get away for a couple of minutes, to take some deep breaths and really come back to yourself. If it's somewhere in a restaurant or in a pub or you're out and about somewhere, maybe looking up to the sky or looking to the horizon, somewhere that you can focus your attention so that it is not focused on the overwhelm and the overstimulation going in. That anchor point can help bring you back to yourself. The third tip that I have for you to help support your nervous system during the holiday season is really to decompress. And this is something that all of us at some point or another forget to do. We rush from one thing to another. We're so busy during this time, we don't even have a moment to stop and think before we collapse into our beds and hopefully have a restful night's sleep before we get up and do it again the next day. Whenever you are at an event or when you have guests around, whenever these type of things come to an end, is really create space for yourself for that decompression. Now again, this can look different for everyone. I like to go into my bedroom, lie down on my bed for maybe 5 or 10 minutes and just be really still. Let my nervous system come down, regulate and return to homeostasis. For some people, it could be making a cup of tea and just sitting in silence. For some people, it could be going out in the garden, just staring at the trees, staring at nature. Whatever it is that brings you back to yourself and that can help you decompress from everything that has been going on, that is something that I would encourage you to do to kind of almost close the loop on the event or the guests or the environment that you have been in during this time. Let me just recap those 3 tips for you again. Tip 1, set an intention. How do you want to move through and how do you want to feel through this holiday season? Tip 2, create yourself an anchor, so somewhere that you can bring your focus and awareness to whenever you feel overwhelmed or overstimulated. And 3, decompress. Make sure that you make time to create the space and let your body down-regulate and come back to yourself. I hope these tips have been useful for you and I hope you get to put them into practice over the holiday season, and I would love to hear how you get on. And if you have any other questions about how to support your nervous system during this time, please feel free to reach out to me.